Hello again. This is my final update before I leave this level. I'm about to go through the attic, because it's the only thing that makes sense. I'm pretty sure there are other exits, but I just think that this one is the most surefire way to escape. I'm not sure what I'm going into. It might be level 11, it might be level 36, 49, could be 100, could be anything. That makes me nervous. This is my first time in the Backrooms. I haven't had a silver lining. It's scary, but I have no choice. If I stay here another day, I'll go insane. I can't stand it here. I'm not sure what this level is doing to my brain, but I know it's not good. And I need to leave here. So that said, I'm leaving. Right now. This is Aiden, signing off. So I just removed all the barricades from the door that I blocked off and went in the room. The attic wasn't there. I started searching all around the house, even downstairs. But when I looked into the room I most recently moved into, it was there, just waiting to be opened. I just thought I would write that down because it's going to be the last documented thing in this level. Also, I stocked up on bread and water. I got pretty lucky because I found multiple canteens near the lake, around 4. So I have enough water to last me a solid month if I drink it sparingly. I'm about to open the attic. Not sure if it'll be the same as before, but I hope it will. This is Aiden, signing off. Alright, so I went to the attic around 2 hours ago. I've been crawling this whole time, and it just keeps going straight. I've seen some things out of the ordinary, but there's been no sign of entities. One time I was crawling, then I looked above me, and it was just wooden beams, stretching as far as I could see. I don't think it was an exit, but it was really creepy. The wood around me creaks almost all the time, and there's a slight, constant breeze that pushes my long hair into my face. There is a very dim light with no discernible source all throughout the level, but it really doesn't help much. It's only enough to where you can see around 2 feet in front of you. I do not like this place. It's really unsettling and feels tight. It's like level 8 with a claustrophobia almost. I'm not sure how I'll get out of here. I think something should pop up if I just keep crawling long enough. It just sucks that this was my way out. The fact that I hate attics makes this so much worse. It's tough, but I have to keep going, no matter what. I have yet to see any entities, which brings me some comfort. There are some hallucinations that I'm getting, but it's mainly auditory and it isn't harming me in any physical way. But I need to keep crawling. I can't forget that I don't have infinite water and food anymore. I'm on a time limit, and I haven't seen any supplies in here yet. So for now, this is Aiden, signing off. I'm back to update some things that I've seen. First of all, there actually is supplies down here. I've seen bottles of almond water. I personally don't like the taste of it, but it is cold, so that makes it better. I've also seen sandwiches in bags. I don't like seeing them because it makes me want to eat them. And I do not trust those sandwiches. You never know with the Backrooms. I've lost track of time, but I'm not tired yet, so it couldn't have been too long since I last wrote. Saying that, I've seen multiple things that could be exits, and I haven't no-clipped yet, so that might not be an option here. I've seen windows, not the entity. I'm pretty sure they were exits, but just to be safe, I'm not going near them. I've also seen rotting ceilings that look easy to break through. I don't particularly want to do that, because when I put my ear up against the wall, I hear a type of droning that makes me very uncomfortable. For all I know, I could be floating in nothing right now. To be honest, the only thing that keeps me safe is probably the attic itself. But who knows? I might just be getting paranoid. All I know is that I'm not going through the walls by force. The only way I'll go through is if I no-clip, which I hope happens soon. For now, though, this is Aiden, signing off. Well, some things just happened, and it's been around 2 days since I last wrote. I had to sleep in the attic. It wasn't very comfortable at all. I'm just glad I'm not there anymore. I was crawling around, which after a while has its toll on the body. Not being able to stand or move a lot is terrible. Anyway, I was crawling when my hand slipped through the floor. I was able to catch myself out of reflex. It was a no-clip spot. The thing I had been looking for from the start. I stuck my head in, and I saw black. A void of sorts. I did not like the idea of going through that floor. But I also saw a doorway in that void. And through that door, I saw a gray room that has paintings on the walls. I couldn't make out what was on the paintings, but I could have sworn that some of them were moving. I had to make up my mind if I was going to fall through the doorway or not. I could leave the level and go into that one, or I could stay and try to find another exit. I chose the former. I decided to fall through the floor and into the doorway. I was terrified. I knew as soon as I poked my head through the floor that the droning I heard earlier through the wall was exactly what I thought. The sound of a dark abyss. But I put my faith in the Backrooms to put me into the next level safely, and I tried not to worry about it too much. I was feeling some sort of pull towards the exit, like a vacuum was trying to inhale me into the void. It wasn't that strong, but it was all I needed in order to dive right into the abyss. I fell through the attic feet first, and that's all I remember. Up until waking up in a gray room. I don't remember the fall, but I remember the second I woke up, I heard elevator music playing. Like the music from level 5, the hotel, but it was kind of muffled. I couldn't hear it as well as I heard it in level 5, but it was without a doubt the same music. That music is burned into my mind, and I could spot it from anywhere. I got up and stood for the first time in a while. It felt good to have proper blood flow in my legs and body. The first thing I noticed was that it looks like I was in a castle. The inside of a castle looks like cobblestone walls. There was a long red carpet, had a really rough texture, and on both sides of the hallway were armor stands for knight armor. A medieval type of architecture. And the second thing I noticed was the sound from the music playing, the same music in level 5. It was exactly the same, only it was muffled. I then went to figure out where the sound was coming from. It took me around 2 minutes, probably, to find my way to the sound. The weird thing is, it didn't get any louder, even when I was standing right next to it. The only way I knew I was getting closer was through the directional patterns in the sound. And as soon as I saw the painting, I knew exactly what I had to do. The painting that I saw was a picture of a hallway in level 5 with a skin tear at the end of it. The entity was moving in the painting. It was clear as day, and the music was coming from there, no doubt about it. I went up to the painting and put my hand up to it. The only problem was my hand didn't stop going forward. It went through the painting, as in my hand went into level 5. I instantly took it out. This is my exit. It has to be. That's what I was thinking, until I heard the sound of a wave crashing against stone. I went to the sound. It was another painting of a level I hadn't yet seen. It was an island with lots of crabs on the shore. It seemed peaceful and inviting, but so did level 10. I didn't go through, and I'm glad I didn't, because as soon as I made up my mind, I saw the biggest crab I'd ever seen. It was standing in the middle of the ocean with its massive legs, around 600 feet away from the island, and I could see it so clearly. It was very, very big, and it was making a weird sound I don't think I could describe. I decided to walk away and try to find a level that seemed safe for me. I started walking, and I saw a door. I went up to it, opened it, and it led me to where I am right now. It's a somewhat small and cozy living room type of place. The difference in sudden shift in environment was really disorienting, though. It kinda looks like an old 80s house, with some furniture and lights that actually worked. In this room was a painting on the wall. A painting of concrete high-rises as far as the eye could see. I decided to put my head through the painting. It seemed safe enough and I didn't see any entities. I stuck my head through and looked around. It seemed like a normal city, if you replaced every building with a concrete high-rise. I hadn't noticed before with level 5 and the crab level, but below the painting on the picture frame had the level number on it. It said that the level I saw was level 11. It was the level right after the wheat field. That means the attic wasn't the main exit. I'm not sure what the main exit was. Maybe if I just kept walking or something, I would have found it, but I'm glad I did go through the attic. It's nice, and it's where I'm gonna stay for a little bit. I'm gonna try to remember where this room is. I can draw on the walls or something to remember how to get back, but I'm gonna explore and look around for different levels. I don't want to stay here too long. I don't know anything about it, and it doesn't seem as safe as level 10 did when I first got there. There's a type of ambience I can't really pinpoint, but I don't like how it makes me feel. Anyway, for now, this is Aiden, signing off. I just got back from my explorations. I found some levels of interest, and some levels I really want to avoid. Levels of interest include these: the Crimson Forest, 6.1, 6999, 280, and the Promised Land. Some levels aren't numbered, in cases like the Crimson Forest and the Promised Land. It just has a name as the title. I didn't see any numbers below them or any sign of one, but those levels look decently safe, and I didn't see any entities in them. Now, onto the levels I will avoid at all costs. The first level was called Fun, with a smiley face right next to it. It resembled an old indoor playground with slides and ball pits, the classic late 20th century play area. But when I put my camera through the painting and took a picture, the image did not show what my eyes saw. It showed a dark and dilapidated, run-down playground that was indoors, with entities holding balloons moving at a rapid rate. The level was completely off the table. It looked like an abandoned birthday party. Might be the most disturbing level I've seen. That is, until I saw the next painting. The painting was titled Blackout. I could see very dim red lights. I did not stick anything through, not even the camera. From outside the level, around 3 feet away from the painting, I felt the most amount of dread I have ever felt. My stomach dropped. I can't imagine what it would feel like if I had actually stuck my head through. I will avoid this level at all costs and never enter it under any circumstances. It looked like an abandoned house with cobwebs and creaky floorboards that you could mistake as paper because it looked so fragile. I saw a woman in a black dress down one of the corridors in the level. She was sobbing loudly. I felt bad, but I turned away when I felt the anguish she was going through. It was almost like I could feel everything she was feeling. I do not think it was a person. I believe it to be an entity. An entity to trick wanderers to going in and help her. I would never go in that level. It was horrible. The feeling of dread. I still feel it while writing this. I wish I never got close to that painting, and I will never go near it again. The next level I will avoid at all costs was titled The Hive. This level resembled level 8, kind of. All the walls were covered in eggs and flesh. The fleshy bubbles on the walls were wobbling around randomly. It was dark, but I could see in pretty well because everything was so close together. It was only around 5 seconds of looking at the level until I saw the most amount of entities I had ever seen. I thought level 5 had a lot, but the hive is on a completely different level. There was an endless amount of skin terrors, and I saw clumps of arms and legs pushing and pulling its massive flesh along the floor. It was horrific. I will never step foot in there, and if I do, I will surely die. Without a doubt. The last level I saw that I hope to avoid with every fiber of my being was titled exclamation point. That's it. No phrase before it or after it. It's just an exclamation point. Although, under that symbol was a phrase in parentheses. It said, "Run for your life." I instantly knew what the level had to have been. The level was a long hospital-type hallway with chairs and beds in it. The only reason I found it was because of the screams I heard from the painting. The sounds of entities screaming was deafening. I heard it from so far away. I stuck my camera in and took a picture. When my hand went through, I instantly felt like I had infinite energy and adrenaline rushing through me. I was in the most heightened sense of fight or flight. This time, it was flight. I felt like my legs were about to move on their own, and they did. My legs took me away from the painting as I heard the entity's screams getting louder and louder. I don't even know how it's possible, but I will never step foot in that level, and I hope to never see it again. There are some honorable mentions, but I've been writing for a while and I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go to sleep behind this couch, just in case there are entities in this level. I've yet to see any other than the ones in the paintings, but you never know with the backrooms. This is Aiden, signing off. Something just happened. I don't know how long I was asleep for, but my body jolted me awake when I felt gravity shift. My body went to the ceiling, but the furniture stayed on the ground. The ceiling is about 10 feet off the ground. It's not that high, but I didn't want to risk getting hurt. I went over the couch that I had been sleeping behind and waited. The gravity wasn't going back to normal. All of my stuff was down there. I had no idea what was happening. I was sleeping pretty well, then all of a sudden I was falling up. That, coupled with the feeling you get right after waking up of not knowing anything, absolutely shocked me. And the feeling of pain when my body hit the roof, I was stunned. My brain took a whole 30 seconds to adjust to the situation. I couldn't get a picture because my camera was in the bag on the floor, but it was very strange to see the room from the opposite perspective. I felt like I had no control. The feeling is somewhat like when you know you're about to lose your balance. I did not enjoy being on the ceiling. Plus, it was a popcorn ceiling as well, so it wasn't very pleasant for my back when I landed. I'm just glad I didn't turn around and try to catch myself. My head would have probably hit the roof very hard, and I'd be unconscious by now. I can stand on the roof, which is very disorienting, and it doesn't help much. I waited a while longer, around 20 minutes or so, when I fell. At the time, I didn't know if gravity would switch back. I had been walking around on the roof, trying to get to a safe spot. I was about to make it to the couch again when it switched back, when I was above the table. I landed hard on something sharp. I landed on the corner of the table. That's where I hit the back of my head. And I started bleeding. A lot. I still feel lightheaded. I looked through my bag to see if there was anything to stop the bleeding. Nothing. I grabbed my bag and looked around the room to see if I could find anything. There was nothing. I was losing a lot of blood, and I had nothing to stop it. I ran as fast as I could at the time, down the hallway that I went down to explore for paintings. I went off the path that I originally went down, and kept going. I didn't stop running. I was looking for something. Anything. I was gonna die if I didn't find the bandage or something to wrap my head in. I felt like I could pass out at any moment. It was hard to keep my eyes open, and I stumbled around while looking for anything useful. That's when I saw it. A dark hallway. And from the hallway, a happy face. I knew it couldn't leave the darkness, but that's where the problem lies. Every single light went out. All of them. It was like level 6, all over again. I ran, not that fast, but as fast as I could manage. I couldn't make sense of what was happening. This level is nowhere near as safe as it seemed. That moment was the first instance where I had suffered a critical injury and had no way of healing it. I had a lot of trouble keeping my eyes open with the amount of blood I was losing. My body was telling me to slow down, but I knew if I did, the happy face would get me, and I would die. I was running and bumped into something. I tripped and fell on the ground. I knew this was it. I was about to die. The happy face was charging, and I had no way of stopping it. I tried to open my eyes so I could stare it down, but they weren't opening, and it wasn't stopping. It was getting closer. My vision was blurry, and the sounds were distorted. I was about to pass out. I knew it was over. This was the last moment of my life. I heard footsteps behind me, and someone yelling. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but I saw the beam of a flashlight getting brighter, and the footsteps getting louder. I recognized the voice, and that's all I remember. I passed out. I was a couple seconds away from death, and someone saved me. I just couldn't believe it would be him.